Okay, again. This is our pre-conference for tomorrow's observation. The first question that I have for you, Ms. Wershing, is what is the area of focus you want me to look at?
I think the best area to focus on would be teacher talk.
Okay.
Maybe direct instruction, time me and see how long I'm taking to explain things.
Okay. What is the objective and the expectations that you have for this lesson?
So the objective for the lesson is to see if the students are able to see how an author uses tone and mood within a text to convey their message.
Okay. And would you like me to collect any data?
Yes, I think it'd help me if you collected the data, seeing how long it took me to do the direct instruction, kind of see how my timing of everything goes, because I find that I run out of time.
Okay. And what strategies would you be using during your lesson?
So the strategies, so for the beginning of the assignment, it's going to be some think, pair, share, think aloud on a guided paragraph, and there's one more. Activating prior knowledge in the beginning. We're accessing an assignment that we did yesterday. We're also working on the spatter strategy.
Okay. Okay, is there anything else I should know about this lesson? Any additional information?
It's just preparing the kids to work with tone and mood through a found poem and a Humament document.
Okay, I will be in your classroom tomorrow during fourth period.
Okay.
And then after that, we will schedule a follow-up, a post observation conference. And I look forward to being in your classroom.
Thank you, I do too.
And learning from you also, because we're all learners.
Yes.
Okay, thank you so much.
You're welcome, thank you.
Good morning. So let's open our notebooks to the Dr. Gadget by Van Gogh. Alright, Dr. Gadget.
She's really pretty.
Let's just review. So we did the spatter technique, right?
Yeah.
What is the subject of the image?
Wait, what?
What is the subject, Gabrielle?
Well, I believe that this painting is about, I just thought superficially that it's about a guy named Dr. Gadget, and maybe Van Gogh painted this portrait for him, much like the Mona Lisa.
Okay, so you think it's a portrait that this guy wanted. Okay, do you guys agree, disagree? Any other ideas? What do you say? Who's Dr. Gadget? The guy in the picture. Who do you think he is? Author? So you think he wanted this picture? Okay. So using what we've done with spatter, we're going to write a guided paragraph. So we're going to start. So you're going to turn to the next page. A new clean page. It's going to be 1C. So, first we're going to ask, what mood is established by Vincent van Gogh's Dr. Gadget? So because we're asking about mood, we're looking for implicit details. So not things that you can actually see like physically in the picture, but what you can assume about it. So talk amongst your group to look for implicit details about the mood.
So I thought the mood was gloomy because of the way Dr. Gadget is like sitting. He's all
I thought
down.
as a guide, I thought very vibrant. Like when I was looking at it, at first I was just like, why am I looking at this? Like within my dark There's still rich colors. Yeah, they were really dark colors, so if you use the color that
Okay, I can tell you this, but I'm using these in the picture to think about.
And also, like, not in his face, but the surroundings, like, in the breath.
Okay.
And the way he slouches, like he's like slouching and the flowers kind of look dead,
And so that makes you think that the mood is
like sad.
sad, depressing. Any others? Does anyone think it's a happy mood?
Because if it would have been happy,
You think it would have been brighter colors? Okay, so what did we all think about mood? Naya.
It was like bright colors. She was like thinking.
Okay. So what mood does that convey? If you want, we can go back and look at our mood words. Yes.
My favorite one, I thought that the mood was like sadness or like depression because the colors in the picture are like darker. There's no like bright colors in the picture. It's like more like blacks and darker colors.
Okay. So sadness. So, Neo, after looking at the mood words, did you find one? I heard one over here. Depressed? Why do you think it's depressed? Anyone?
well,
He has like flowers in his hand and they look kind of sad.
Okay.
It seems like he's probably like lost someone.
Anyone guess on?
I thought the mood was gloomy because of the position he was sitting and the look on his face.
Okay. So we've kind of gone on the negative side of the mood words, right? Jacob, what do you think?
It could be like confusion.
A confusion? Confusion? Is it... Does he look questioning?
Yes.
Yes, Gabriella.
That's what we thought about our table, kind of is like, it's a mix of the colors and also the expression that he's showing is kind of like, it looks like he's thinking about something. And the colors are really rich, like the rich yellow and the blues. So maybe that could be expressing his thought process.
Okay. So I like that idea. So what kind of mood would you say? So you said he's thinking about something, questioning, pondering? Perhaps a thoughtful mood? Okay. So after we've got our implicit details. So now our explicit details. You guys all mentioned a lot of them. So let's go back So now we're asking what in the picture tells us that he's in a thoughtful mood or a questioning mood. So what exact details in the image tell us that he looks sad?
I thought, well, I had shared that I thought it was probably because of the facial expression that he had in his face.
So his facial, what is his facial expression?
Like I don't know, like it brings a negative content to the picture.
Okay. So he has a negative facial expression.
Yeah, the use of the brush strokes.
Brush strokes. What about them?
They're kind of choppy a little bit,
Mhm.
and it's kind of like flowing to one side.
Thank you for joining me for the post-observation on your lesson on tone and mood. So we're going to get started with the post-conference and talk about what happened during your instruction and how do you feel about it, and if you would like any feedback, then I'll be more than help you with that. So the first question that I want to ask you is, how do you think it went?
I think it went pretty well. The students were engaged with each other. They talked with each other in the small group well. They gave a lot of interesting responses to the questions that I posed. So overall, I think it went well.
Okay. You asked me to collect data on teacher talk,
Mhm.
and how much time do you spend talking during the lesson
Yes.
versus student talk. What are your thoughts on what that data is going to look like?
I think there wasn't too much teacher talk in this particular lesson, so I think it will reflect that there wasn't too much teacher talk and there was plenty of time for the students to talk.
Okay. Would you like to see the data?
Yes.
Okay. So as you were doing your lesson, and as we were in the classroom together, one of the things that I looked at is how you greeted students. It was very direct. There was very little interaction with you greeting students. It was straight to instruction, which is okay. But we would like to have a culture of welcoming and
Okay.
the kind of questions that you asked, you did a very good job of asking open-ended questions. There were probing questions, which there was no right or wrong answer, which is really great when it comes to student engagement because it gets them to think. So that was a great thing that you did in your class. You hardly ever questioned closed-ended questions with just a yes or no answer. Even when they gave you a response that might have not been what you wanted to hear, you were very, you guided them, you questioned them, you pushed back on them, which is good. You did that very well. Your questions were directed to the whole class most of the time, but also they were all directed to smaller groups that if they needed additional help, which is also good. Because a lot of times when we make blanket statements, a lot of times not everyone, understands them, or they don't comprehend the directions that they're doing. And another thing that I really like that you do is when you give feedback on students' response, you acknowledge their response as valid, and you show with your body language, you nod, you clarify their response if they're not articulating orally. And one of the big things that I like that you showed of how you were an active listener was that when you went to a table, you actually lowered yourself, like lowered your status as a teacher, and you were face to face at their level. So at that time, when they were asking clarifying questions or they didn't understand the directions, you were equal with them. You were clarifying, but at the same time you understood what wasn't clear, and you weren't talking from like top down.
Right.
So that's very important that in the classroom that everyone feels equal, because we are all learners in that classroom. So you did that very well also. Your directions were given directly and orally, And you encourage the students' discussion by prompting students and calling students at random.
Yes.
Would you like to hear a suggestion on what I've seen when it comes to calling on students?
Yeah, that'd be great.
Okay. I've seen teachers number popsicle sticks or the tables and then assign numbers to students and just pulling the popsicle stick so it's at random.
Okay.
So that all students are ready to respond, so it doesn't feel that you're picking on one student or that one student is giving all the answers at all times. Okay.
Good one.
What we just discussed right now, how does that compare to what you thought?
That's what
the
I was
data?
expecting. I didn't even really think about the fact that I was lowering my body and getting on their level, and so pretty much what I was expecting to hear.
Okay. What worked well in your lesson? What do you feel worked well?
I think the group discussion worked well because it got them thinking and they were able to collaborate and really formulate their ideas. So then when they shared out, they had really thought through their ideas.
Okay. How do you know that worked? What is your marker saying that that's what worked? Or what are some reasons why you think it worked?
I think it worked because multiple students had different responses. They provided elaboration. They didn't just say one word answers. When I asked how or asked for more elaboration, they were able to give it. And also the fact that we were able to get it from different people.
Okay. If you were to teach this lesson again, what would you change?
I think I would change providing them a little more leeway on the guided paragraph, rather than my think aloud kind of got a little too focused on what I was writing and maybe giving them more open-ended sentence frames.
Okay. If we look at the video here, we could see that when a question was posed.
So what mood does that convey?
Sorry.
If you want, we can go back and look at our words.
I'm trying to stop it. Sorry, thank you. When the question was posed, and one of the strategies that you said you were going to use was the think, pair, share.
Mm-hmm.
But I think I believe that in this lesson it was used once. Is there a reason why it wasn't used more than once?
Not necessarily. I probably should have used it more throughout the lesson.
Okay. Do you know in which stopping points, or do you?
I think it would have helped them if after the two questions, so explicit details and the first one being implicit details, giving them the time to think about it, doing the think, pair, share both times.
Okay.
Would have been better.
Now, reflecting on your instruction and the conversation that we are having right now, what are you learning about yourself?
I'm learning that I need to obviously get better about greeting the students, connecting the purpose with the lesson, and also I think the suggestion of calling at random using popsicle sticks would really make students feel more comfortable, because then it would be at random and not calling one student out.
Okay. What are you learning about your teaching
My
practices?
teaching?
More specifically in the teacher talk and the direct instruction. So
Right.
reflecting on that, what do you?
I think with teacher talk, I need to work on developing it further. I think that I have a solid foundation, but it just needs some more work.
Like what?
Specifically, obviously greeting the students. Maybe providing them with not more teacher talk, but I'm not really sure.
Okay. Would you think about maybe, is it okay if I suggest something?
Oh, please do.
Okay. Just providing more opportunities for students to talk with each other,
Okay.
whether it's in a small group or with just a partner. how do we provide those opportunities for them to have that
Okay.
dialogue in the classroom?
Yeah.
I know sometimes we're stuck on the teacher knows everything and I have to teach and this is the way you do things, but I think we need to let go of the reins a little bit and let them take some responsibility and control
Okay.
for their learning. So just when we plan our lessons is looking for opportunities where they're going to have that time to process things together with a partner or in a smaller group.
So have them collaborate more, kind of guide their collaboration and their critical thinking through
Right.
collaboration.
What I've also seen other teachers do, they do a GLAD strategy called the 10-2,
Okay.
where it's for every 10 minutes of instruction that you have,
Mhm.
you have to give them 2 minutes to process and talk about it and, have dialogue with their partner. Or it's only 2 minutes of processing, but I think it would work better if they're able to either summarize or talk about what they got from that 10-minute of instruction.
Yeah.
Which could be a think, pair, share, or it could be a think, pair, write, where they would write it down in their journals and reflect,
Okay.
or even a memory bank.
Okay.
Okay. What about your students? What are you learning about your students?
I'm learning that my students really have, when they're given enough time to really think about the questions and the ideas, they have amazing ideas and they really are thinking on a critical level about tone and mood, and their ideas are really developing.
Okay. What are some possible next steps? Where do you go from here?
I think implementing some new strategies, think, pair, write is a good one. Also implementing the popsicle sticks. I think just trying some new things. Also using the 10-2, that sounds like a great method to use. Just kind of trying some new stuff to get more student talk going.
Okay. And how can I help you get to these next steps? How can I support you, or how can we help each other to get you to those next steps? And
Well, you've already helped me a lot with the suggestions you've provided. Perhaps checking in on occasion and or allowing me to collaborate with you, run ideas past you.
okay. I think when teachers get to talk and collaborate and bounce ideas off each other, maybe it's more productive than doing it on your own. So I'm always available whenever you need me, and just let me know how I could help out.
Okay, thank
Okay.
you.
Thank you.